Nutrients have long been an issue in the state of Iowa and in the Midwest, for that matter. The Gulf Hypoxia Task Force has been working on the issue from the 90s. Ever since I started at the DNR, I learned about the issue and the different efforts that have been going on to try to reduce nutrients across the state. And in about 2012, there was more effort within Iowa to look at opportunities to what can we do? Because a lot of the traditional Clean Water Act approaches just weren't finding that critical collaboration and agreement that you would need to make meaningful progress. For Iowa, it was understood that nutrient reduction at wastewater treatment plants is going to be it's inevitable. We have to do something. The state agency recognized that, EPA recognizes it, cities recognize it, and industries recognized it. What could we do that could be a significant reduction that'd be meaningful but also affordable? What's the policy pathway to get there? And you just got to think creatively, working with EPA or working with your stakeholders within the state to try to find something that could get you the best approach to get something done today, as opposed to having to fight the battles of the last 20 years where people just don't agree. So usually treatment plants in communities are constantly in a state of upgrades, fixes, that type of thing. We're just trying to get from no nutrient removal to the baseline. And so if that's our end game, that's what we're working towards. Well, how do we craft a policy to get to that point? All states are trying to get there. It's a glide path, right? You have secondary treatment. No one's reducing nutrients, arguably, right? Every state's on a different path. They may have passed phosphorus numeric criteria, and they're really working hard on phosphorus, but they haven't done anything for nitrogen. So everyone's in a different spot, but all states are trying to reduce nutrients across the country. We've been almost 10 years into the strategy, and so far we're seeing, I think, good progress on wastewater treatment plants. And for other communities where it was unaffordable, there's lots of opportunities out there to look at nutrient reduction and do things today that can set you up better for the future. The whole point of the point source approach was trying to get on that glide path towards nutrient reduction where it's affordable. We look at it as a matter of when, not if, we might get down to those really stringent levels of nutrient criteria. The approach in Iowa definitely is in line with the One Water theme that U.S. Water Alliance was pushing years ago. We got invited to go to some of these One Water summits they were having, and Iowa had the biggest delegation. And it became very clear that with the practices that the nutrient strategy was recommending on the non-point source side, what cities were committed to do on the point source side, for a lot of different reasons outside, I have to do nutrients because my permit told me so. I want to protect my source water. I want to slow down water so we don't flood as bad. To tell that story and being there together really helped build partnerships within the Iowa delegation to say, okay, well, we're all doing this, and we created more partnership opportunities, more innovations were coming to mind. There's a lot of connections there people may not realize, that bring everyone together to understand those challenges. Iowa League of Cities, the Iowa Water Environment Association, everyone worked on this approach together. It was collaborative, like this is something we could do. One of the things that's an outgrowth is cities have come to us asking, hey, can we partner in the watershed? Because we have a lot of other needs, but if these are things we want to invest in for flood resiliency, source water protection, but if we can get nutrient reduction too, is that something we might be able to apply to our permit in the future? And from a department perspective, anything that can improve and protect water quality more quickly than otherwise would happen, we're going to be supportive of that. We had cities approaching the department asking to partner in the watershed, wanting to do that for all these mutual benefits. And so that really has allowed for a lot of more collaboration and understanding of farmers' challenges and a city's challenges, and they're working together and understanding that better. And we're beginning to see that snowball finally into more practices going in more quickly in partnership as opposed to finger pointing. We couldn't have done it without EPA being on board, supportive, and I think in a lot of ways at the time, they were looking at the same thing. How, we're getting sued, states are getting sued, everyone's arguing about stuff, but nothing's actually getting done. What can we do now in the meantime? And so just from that philosophy that they had, from headquarters to the regions and down to the staff level, knowing that, it kind of opened up some of these flexibilities and support for how we could do this. So it kind of changed the normal relationship from a state regulatory agency with EPA to look at it to more collaboratively together. And obviously, we want to see it be successful. EPA wants to see these approaches be successful as well. And so the flexibility to do things a little bit differently on the point source permitting side has been great. And then also with some of the recent changes in the water quality trading platform has allowed us to look at some of these opportunities in Iowa differently as well. And without that, I don't know if we'd see some of these partnerships between cities and the watersheds at where they're at today, which I think is in a good place, and I think it's only going to grow. Nutrient reduction doesn't, and the strategy doesn't dictate people's missions or purposes. Everyone has a role to play, as far as nutrient reductions, faced the same way that we're all kind of marching together, doing our thing and trying to partner where we can. And that's what's the spirit of the strategy was, it takes everyone understanding each other's challenges and that we all have a role to play. And it's going to take all hands on deck to really make a dent in nutrients. It's going to be a huge lift. Iowa's a gigantic place, with a relatively small population, huge land area, a lot in agriculture. What things can we do to start moving the herd and getting some things done? And one of the benefits has been this collaborative working together because those challenges have been understood. And once you have those connections, understanding what a city's challenge would be and what an individual farmer or operations challenge would be, it just becomes a lot easier to work together and respect those challenges, but also find those opportunities. Well, what can we get done together? And that's what's exciting about it. And so from a regulatory agency looking at it, what things can we do to try to keep things moving and keep that space open and collaborative where things can grow? Because we need to hit that pace and scale to really make a dent in the nutrient reduction that's needed in the state of Iowa. And so anything that we can do to get everyone involved and collaborate and do that, we're going to try like hell to do it. One of the things we've learned with implementing the strategy so far is that there's more flexibilities out there than we originally planned for, and a lot of those flexibilities came at the suggestion of cities and industries looking for other approaches and wanting to pair their investments for the infrastructure at the plant with watershed approaches, and we're wide open to that. And if other cities or industries want to go that direction, we'd love to have a conversation.